Yeah. Hey,
Is
Joe.
there an advantage or disadvantage to headphones?
Oh, absolutely. Great question. Didn't get to it yet. I use headphones all the time. The reason being is when you have headphones on, it's cupped. All the environmental noise out there, I don't care what it is, it could be a car passing by in the distance. You know, metal detecting is kind of a loner thing. You know, you're not going to be chatting with your buddy. You're going to be listening. So your ears are very important. And so like I was saying, when you wear headphones, you're really eliminating the outside noises and you're concentrating on the ground. Because you're listening, hey, does this sound like heavy concentrations of mineralization? Is it ground noise or is it a target? So yes, well, there's a lot of reasons you wear metal detectors. Sometimes you don't want anybody to hear you out there. You're at your neighbor's property. You're away on vacation. You don't want to hear it. I don't advocate that, but unless anybody does it. So yeah, absolutely, headphones, it's a must. You get a detector, you get a pair of headphones. You know the quality of headphones, there's headphones that are from $30 to $180. I've used the cheap ones. I can't distinguish one from the other. So, you know, I think something like that, I'd rather spend my money on a coil rather than maybe get a cheaper pair of headphones and get a different coil. So, oh, they all run on batteries, of course. And I don't personally use rechargeables. I use alkaline batteries, Duracells, Energizers. They last about 40 to 50 hours in these things. So they last a really, really long time. Sometimes the rechargeable batteries, they don't hold the voltage very long. Unless you have double set, bring it along with you. I always carry a separate set of batteries. I hate to be out there an hour away in the middle of nowhere and the juice runs out. It's just terrible, terrible thing. I also wear knee pads. I wear knee pads because you're always bending over down there on your knees. I wear snake guards. There's some friends of mine who are like, yeah, you're a wimp. You know, I don't care. I don't want to be bitten by a rattlesnake. I wear these. $70 is worth not getting bit over a rattlesnake. So there are tools of the trade, you know, guys, especially if you're electronically prospecting out there. Right now I'm using the Tesoro Lobo, and I found gold with that, and I'm also using the MineLab. This is one of my newer acquisitions, and I've been using this for the last 3 months, and I've been very lucky. Yes?
Is there any metal detector that can track minerals that are rocks?
There are metal detectors, such as this one right here, that tracks concentrations of minerals. And they're primarily ferrous minerals like magnetite, hematite, limonite, magnemite. And what those are, they're just semiconductive minerals. I don't know what kind of minerals you're talking about, but iron-based, iron oxide minerals. And there are some people use that to, like, they'll go along a river if they want to go prospect or set a sluice box, and they'll get a little signal where there's heavy concentrations of black sands. Black sands are very heavy, so if there's concentrations of black sands, heavier ones over here rather than over here, you're going to start digging here and throw it in your sluice box or your high bank or whatnot. The probability of more gold being found there than here is it's highly probable. So, but yeah, they use it. Does that answer your question, or I'm not really? Yeah, there's uranium. They use different type of detectors for that. But minerals like, you know, semi-precious stones and stuff like that, I don't think so. No. More conductive type of stuff. That's how it works. Magnetic induction.
So like if you had some gold that was in a rock.
Yes.
Maybe that's what he was talking about.
Okay.
And it was kind of spread out.
Great. Yeah, that's another thing. I'm telling you. Like the MineLab pulse induction works very well. Let me just show you. There's a friend of mine, Jason. He's over here somewhere. There's Jason right there. Jason's a really, really good metal detector. He's been using the Tesoro Lobo with discrimination mode because he wants to eliminate a lot of the iron trash in particular areas that he hunts. And so he could hear the non-ferrous object. There's one here, it's probably over 3/4 of an ounce. Digging something like this is extremely rare, but it's happening all the time, every day. There's another piece, since we're on Jason here. I wasn't with him that time, and I don't know where he found this. Catholic bathroom. Okay, this piece here, when I saw it, he brought it in my shop one day, and he's just like, look. And I'm like, okay, well, it's gold, but it's kind of small compared to this, right? Well, this is a specimen piece right here. This has what they call wire gold. Gold grows in crystals. You know, you see stalagmites and stuff like that. They actually grow and form in different crystals. They also grow with these things in shapes of called octahedral. They have like 8 different sizes, like that thing in, like crystals. They grow up and they have really beautiful flat shapes. This piece, now if you find an octahedral specimen this size, it's worth a lot of money. If you find wire gold, it's worth some money. It's specimen gold. This piece here, I've never seen one like this. This has both. This has octahedral and it has wire gold. And we're estimating this between $15,000 to $20,000 right here. This is a really neat, I'm like, wow, I'm holding this thing. This is a really beautiful piece. In fact, there's a guy out there who specializes in that, and he gave an estimate of that. There's collectors throughout the world who just love this right now. Yeah, this is a really unusual. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. So you have these octahedral little towers, like buildings going out, and between them you have gold that's shaped in like hair, like your hair. Extremely rare. Extremely rare. But back to that question, yeah. Gold, when it's dispersed, free milling gold in quartz, it is difficult to get with the PI. The pulse induction, if it's like this nugget right here, see how dense it is? It's compacted, it's really heavy, there's no rock on it. The pulse induction technology itself will work very well on this, very well. This piece right here, with that metal detector, you will get it, even with an 11-inch coil, monocoil like this, you're going to get it down. If you listen very carefully, you can get it down to 18 inches, no problem. Okay, that's deep, guys. Where a machine, a VLF machine like this, it'll probably get it around 10 inches, depending on mineralization too. You know, there's a lot of variables.
Now, what's the restriction for going through something hard, like a layer of
No restrictions. No, it'll go through slate.
Oh, it goes right through it.
It goes right through it. We've dug targets such as this, smaller targets like, what do I do with it? You better take this right now. I'll take this. No, here's another one. Here, take that.
Nobody knows you have it.
Yeah, I don't want to hold 20,000 hours of gold in my hand and lose it, especially
That's my
that.
running shoes today, so.
That's specimen gold. Yeah, it has a hard time seeing that free milling gold. The best way with detectors work when it's compact, like a nugget hunting. VLF, actually, mineralized free milling gold, VLF does a lot better than a pulse induction. So you see, there's benefits to pulse induction, there's benefits to VLF. The best of both worlds is to have one of each. And I have two. But, you know, again, where are you going to go? Like, when you're out there, you have a quartz outcropping, and there's a lot of miners left a bunch of quartz laying around. Best way to do that is not to go over the quartz. It's just sit on that quartz pile, make sure there's no rattlesnakes there. Take each piece and just sit there, drink some water, and just go zip, zip. If there's a sound, put it in a bucket. There may be free milling gold in there. Then what I usually do is look at it with a little microscope, but you just put it in a mortar pestle, break it up real fine, and pan it out. So VLF technology, when it emits a high frequency, some of these go 72 kilohertz, which is what? 72,000, it's like a sine wave of electronics. It goes up and down 72,000 times a second. So it emits a very fast field, but it is very, very sensitive to mineralization. So sometimes, if it's highly mineralized, you're not going to hear targets like this. You're going to hear chatter. You're going to hear the ground reacting to it, the natural minerals. And you can miss a target like this really easy. You're going to hear it, but you're going to say, oh, it's just ground noise. And I've done that. Where pulse induction, you're going to hear this target because it eliminates that ground noise. It does very well. When you turn that thing on, you ground balance it out, it goes silent. So pretty much when you hear a target, it's going to be a target, another target. But yeah.
Question for you.
Yeah.
How do you go about selecting your sites?
Okay, great question. You know, it's easy to get a metal detector. If you got $5,000, you want to start out, you know, or you want to get a $1,000 metal detector. That's one of the most difficult things is to find properties. Depends upon where, like in Mariposa County, a lot of the property is private. Unless you have a contact family member or friend who says, there's a history of gold there and it's detectable size. A lot of these areas have really small gold. You're better off sluice boxing or using other methods of mining. But if you're looking at, flakes and bigger, it's got a history of 3-ounce nuggets, 1-ounce nuggets. That's a great area. But try to get permission to go on that property. That's the hardest thing. People who live here a long time, they have a lot of contacts. People who are kind of new, you better start. I'd say the best thing to do is join a prospecting club. If I could give you one recommendation, you want to go out there and look for gold with a metal detector, join a club. That's what I did 25 years ago. That's nice.
Both of those are picked up below fish hatcheries. One of them
Moccasin Creek. See, these are like 3/4 ounces, ounces right there.
One of them sold for, I had 60,000.
Wow, that's incredible. Yes, specimen gold is worth some money.
That was the one that was found outside of the
Oh, really? Well, there's a piece over here. In fact, my friend, there's a mine in Mariposa called the Colorado Quartz Mine. The Colorado Quartz Mine has produced beautiful, beautiful specimens of gold. And one of their most famous is called the Dragon Nugget. It's not really a nugget, it's quartz crystal. It's right here. Okay, this is John Emmett. When he used to own it, it's a tunnel, it's an old mine, hard rock mine. He uses metal detectors to scan the walls, and when he gets a signal, what he did, he's cut it out with a special chainsaw. There's him cutting it out. He cut it out, and he spent $60,000 to clean it with hydrofluoric acids. A specialist who could dissolve the quartz, okay? And after many, many months of cleaning it, here's when it's a little bit cleaned up, it ended up looking like this.
Wow.
It sold at auction, I believe, for $280,000, and the person who bought it turned it over for $500,000 the next day. And as far as I know now, it's somewhere, and they have it valued at $2.5 million. Do you know how much gold there is right here? 6 ounces. It's $13,000 in gold. So, specimen gold, something like this. There's page after page of beautiful gold. These are people from all over the world collect this, guys. It's Colorado Mine, when you say it in wherever. Colorado Mine, Archery Mine, Mockingbird Mine, they have Providence, they're branded. If you're a doctor somewhere in London, you collect stuff like this, you know the Colorado Mine. Okay? In fact, Lance himself owns it now. Lance Barker, he came into my shop with the Tesoro logo. He has a mine lab, he uses a fisher. Here's a professional mining engineer. He went through Colorado School of Mines. The guy's a professional. He uses different brands of metal detectors. I said, why do you have a Tesoro when you have a mine lab? Or why do you have? He says, I use every one. I tweak them, and I just try to listen to the target response. He doesn't care what brand it is. He tries them all out. So it goes to show you, a professional such as himself, he's not going to say, oh, White's is the best or Fisher. Guys, if you get a top brand machine, the most important thing when you're using a metal detector is the operator. Just like the guy behind the plant. It's the guy who's operating the metal detector. And being consistent, persistent, and never giving up. Most people that I talk to, they say, oh, I bought a metal detector and I'm just picking up trash all the time. Well, there's a lot of trash out there. It's part of the territory. It's like any job. If you don't mind picking up trash, eventually you're going to find a nugget. I've gone out, I go out maybe on once a week if I can get out. In the last 2 months, every time I go out, I found gold. But you have to have a nice spot to go to. That's the thing.
Where is that?
Calaveras County. But I want to show you some of the things, when I first started metal detecting, I was in 6th grade in Chicago, and the way I started doing it was with my scoutmaster, Mr. Peterson, and he just invited a bunch of boys, hey, you want to go follow me? And we dug things, and I kind of got moved to California when I was older, and I bought my first detector for $130. That was 1980. I was in 6th grade. But you know what? There's a lot of things out there. Electronic prospecting for gold is the hardest thing you can do with a metal detector looking for gold. It really is. It could really. Even me, when I'm out there, I go out there a day or two, I haven't found any gold. My pride is like, I'm just in trash. I give up. It's easy. But you got to keep going, knowing that it's out there. Okay, but I have found a lot of really little things. This is an old lock, 1850s lock that I found. Like I showed you this dirt. This is cool. I found a gold coin, a $5 gold coin. I found a really neat thing. In fact, I was detecting a Chinese mining camp locally on my friend's property, and I dug this 4 inches underground. It's a silver spoon. I mean, you can look at it and say, that's silver. There's no, there's no rust on it. And I couldn't figure out what this sucker was. Is it a spoon? Is it a little sugar thing? And then I looked at what was engraved on it. It's a beautiful flower on there of a poppy, an opium poppy. It's not really an opium poppy, but that's what they used it for opium. And this hung along a silver chain of a probably well-to-do Chinese person miner. And he had, it was paraphernalia for what they did. But this is highly collectible. It's gold brochure, Chinese artifact. There aren't too many of these. In fact, you can't find this. It's really hard to find on the internet. So this is a really cool find, very valuable. So it doesn't look like much, but it's out there. It's out there, guys. I found military buttons. People don't know, but in the 1840s, 1850s, there were dragoons out here. There were military. These guys, they might have went AWOL or they were released, and all they had on them was their, military issued clothing, and they went out there and they lost dragoon buttons. There was a site that I hunted, no bigger than this area right here, tons of square nails. Every swing, square nails, square nails. But in between there, I picked up 12 dragoon buttons. And dragoon buttons, people were into military stuff. I got this piece of paper stuck in my hair, and my mother was making noise. They're fairly valuable. They're about $70 a piece. These are really good condition. But and I've been going to this site over the last few years. Once in a while, when I think of it, I'll go there. I found this gun too, a flintlock pistol. Flintlock pistols are like those pirate pistols, with the powder. I found one of those. Those are pre-1851, maybe from 1839 on. So it dated when he was out, when he was issued his firearm, code. And then I found this really cool thing. So I found his buttons. I found his gun. I found his bullet maker. They used to pour lead in a little mold. I found that. I found the bullet right next to it. And then I went out there. I gave up after a while, digging a lot of trash. And I went out there. I said, it's really close to my house. I'm just going to go out there and have fun. And I brought a really small coil that day. And I said, there's just so much trash. I know there's more goodies in there. And I found this little piece right here. And it looks like a washer. I thought it was a dirty washer. I brought it home and I washed it. And I'm like, that's a hole in it. What is this? And I took my magnifying glass and I saw that it's an American coin. It's an 1850 half dime. With the Liberty sitting down with the flag. But there's a hole in it. Well, it's not a bullet. Bullets, they can't do this. Then a friend of mine came in, one of my customers' friends comes in, Fred, what's that? He said, you know what that is? I said, no. He says, that's a love token. Some of you may know what a love token is, I didn't. He says, a lot of times at that time when a soldier goes off west or, he's going to get away from his girlfriend, fiance, or loved one, she took this 5-cent piece. She's not going to take a $5 gold piece because it's a lot of money. Small denominator. She put a hole in it, he wore it around his neck. And the date was 1850. So I have a pistol prior to 1851, that general, so I dated, there's a whole story there. The soldier went out to the west, I found his gun, he lost his life there, obviously, and I found his token that was hanging around his neck. He was a dragoon. And dragoons were special cavalry units, they had really cool uniforms, they were like Marines of today. So that's kind of a neat, you learn a lot about history, you learn about, you learn a lot through metal detecting. I learned a lot. It's not just picking things up. Once you find something you want to identify, what's the story behind this? So it's another aspect, But as far as when that young lady said, I do have a piece of quartz here with gold in it. There's nice gold in here. It's a little yellow. I don't know if you can see it. Let me show you how it reacts to it. It's very important if you have quartz outcroppings that the gold is more condensed, closer together rather than spread apart. But you'll see. There's a little bit of disturbance in this room. You can hear that. I mean, it's not a problem. So what you want to do is get that quartz. I mean, it's every way that you put it. Okay, it's a little softer this way. There's not much on this side. Most of it's in the front face right here. So it does pick up golden quartz. This may have a little bit more difficult time finding it, but I have found heavy concentrations of gold in the quartz. It didn't have a problem. There's a piece in here. One of the smallest pieces I found with a VLF metal detector is this piece right here. You can hardly see it. It weighs very little. So it's capable of finding the smallest. Then this piece right here has a little quartz on it. It only weighs about 1.5 grams. And it's pretty. I had a friend hydrofluoric acid it. It's a nice little specimen. But I found it almost 11 inches deep. That's neat. That's deep, guys. That's really deep. I've went over a lot of gold in the years, not knowing what, I didn't know what I was doing, but now I'm kind of like listening more carefully and just digging every target. Pulse induction, you cannot discriminate, guys. This sucker here, you turn this thing on. Oh, actually the Goldmaster doesn't discriminate. Let's put this one on right here. A Lobo, this is my machine. And it doesn't have an LCD display, it's just buttons, guys. That's why I dig every sound. You turn it on, it's gonna make a loud noise. Take a second. Okay, mine's been modified a little bit, but see that chatter? See that, hear that chatter? That's annoying. Now, when you're in highly mineralized ground, with the VLF, highly mineralized ground, you're gonna start hearing a little chatter like that. Now, if it's a little target, you're not gonna hear it. You're not gonna differentiate between the target response to the mineralization. Okay, if it's a little shallower, you can hear that, right? But check. Okay. Yeah, there's a major. You see that? It disappeared. It's not. There's a metal. Now, if it shatters a little bit, it's just a bigger piece of iron. You just forget it. You see how it's silenced? Now you get a silver. Silver. There's a button. There's that piece of gold right here. That little 1.5 grams. Now, see, let me explain something. When you use discrimination and you eliminate the iron, you're going to reduce the capabilities of this machine to go very deep. So the only pieces you're going to find are bigger pieces. Okay, fairly shallow. That's the drawback. The drawback is if you have a trashy area, you know, you want to detect it because you know there's gold there. So you're going to lose a lot of depth and you may lose a little bit of gold, but at least you can hunt that ground. You know? That's in disc mode. That's not bad. And then you have iron, you don't hear it. It's magic. But discrimination. Some metal detectors like the whites. In fact, my friend Gary here, he's a whites dude right here. I showed him how he's always bragging about whites. He's like Ford and Chevy and Dodge guys. Kind of maybe like a lot of you guys, Dodge, Ford, or Chevy. But he's a whites guy, and I showed him. I said, check out this Tesoro. He's like, why? He says, let me put discrimination on. And I showed him a piece of gold among trash. He's like, wow, I've never seen that. The whites here, although it's a very good machine, it doesn't have the capacity to discriminate iron. It identifies the iron by the iron meter here, but there's some sites where you just don't want to hear this stuff. There's so much trash. You don't want to hear it. You want to hear good targets. So he called whites up, and they said, well, it reduces the depth, and it's just too much work to, change the electronics. So they choose, at least on that model, not to put the discriminator on. Although they have the MXT, which is a very, very fine machine. It's a Now, since I'm on the MXT, and MXT is a multi-purpose detector. Okay, you don't have to decide. There's some detectors out there, all manufacturers make them. They're called multi-purpose detectors. And it has a relic mode, it has a coin jewelry mode, and it has a prospecting mode. So if you change the selection switch to prospecting mode, it changes the whole program of that computer designed to look for gold. Okay, it'll have iron identification, it'll have stuff like that. If you go to coin mode, you put a quarter in front of it, it'll tell you quarter, it'll tell you dime, it'll tell you a nickel, a penny. It's neat if you're into that. I'm not. I dig every target. So there's all kinds of metal detectors. I think the main thing that I want to get out for you, if you've never metal detected, is it's a great hobby. You get a heck of a workout. You meet some really cool people. And it's a fun thing to do. I love, you just zone out. You're out there in nature, get you in places you've never been. Otherwise, you'd be front TV watching soap operas. Or the Gold Show. Or Diggers. Or Diggers, right? I heard about this. I haven't watched it. I don't have TV. But, people dig up stuff like this, and they're like, wow, I'm going to get $500 at old Fred's place. Ain't going to happen. Or here's an axe. Oh, here's a pioneer axe. Well, who wasn't a pioneer in the 1850s? Big deal. So a lot of that's made up. I've dug up pocket watches. This is a common American-made pocket watch. It's not gold. I've dug up cufflinks for miners. Half of it's gold. Oh, here's a real cool find. Now I have 5 acres up here, and I've been metal detecting for 10 years because I could go outside. And it's worked, guys. You can't go to my property and find anything. So I went out there because I was bored, you know, and I'm like, I'm never going to find anything. Well, I went out there and I found a pistol. Check it out. Okay, of course, the handle right here is gone because it was wood. The trigger guard is gone, and the trigger is actually pushed up in there. But this is called a percussion picture. There's a ball and cap, black powder. You pull this. Lincoln will shop at one of these at close range. You can't kill anybody from here. They'll just hurt. But you have to be close range. This was a person's personal weapon. If he lost his rifle or his arm or sidearm, the last line of defense, either one of these or a pistol. So I found stuff like that. I found flasks. This flask right here went to a Colt pistol. Colt is an American-made manufacturer, very rare, early stage. This is a flask. I found one online. They were asking about $290. I don't sell anything that I make. They're like little trophies. A lot of this stuff has value. Sometimes you're digging dirt and you find old marbles, you know, porcelain, Chinese stuff, silver spoons, modern stuff.
Is marble a byproduct? Would marble be a byproduct? I mean, you're not detecting anything.
No, the marble, little kids' marbles. I just happened to hit an iron target, and maybe the kids were playing marbles, and I found old marbles, you know, glass marbles. Sometimes you find things. I was digging holes, and I find like Chinese pottery or plates with the blue, you know. I found buttons, glass buttons, porcelain buttons. I found those. Yes.
What do you do it for if you don't sell anything? Just for the fun of it?
I do it for the fun of it. Yeah, I do it for the fun of it. Yeah. No. Some people fish. You know, they release the trout. You know, I wouldn't unless you want to get into profit, become a professional electronic professional. You know, prospector. There's people out there, guys, that are doing it. That are doing it, but I wouldn't quit your day job. You have to have access to properties. A lot of the public lands for BLM land, you know, it's out there, but it's hard work. I mean, you know what? I'm out there crawling. Most of the time I'm detecting. I'm on my fours. I'm breaking manzanita trees. I wear these. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm tired. And I might have just found nothing that day. But I had a great experience. You know, it's funny. I went a couple weeks ago. I went out and I got skunked that day. And I didn't find any gold, and I was waiting to get picked up. And I'm looking across this fence, and I see this metal dish. I'm like, well, what's that? It had leaves on it. It just looked really terrible. So I jumped the fence, and I turned it around, and it had this really cool, it was a metal cylindrical thing, and it had a scene of Hawaii with palm trees and a bay. And you know, it says, enjoying it. It kind of ended my day. Like, I was enjoying it. It's in my house right now. Some of you have seen it. It's beautiful. I'm going to hang it on my wall. So I really wasn't skunked. I thought the guy, it was an artist's signature on it. It was beautiful, hand painted. And it had this, you know, you all seen TV with the palm trees and the little seagulls, and it said enjoying it. It was weird. Me, it was at least. I did enjoy it. So yeah, if you go wherever you live, if you go out to a dealer and you want to buy a metal detector, don't let the dealer try to tell you buy the top of the line. In fact, Jason had a friend, he bought the V3 Spectrum. It's like a $1,500 machine. He bought 2 of them.
Yeah.
It's a computer, it's got all these little graphs. It's really cool if you're a really techie person. I'm not a techie person. I'm a pick and shovel guy. I don't want, it hurts my brain. I want a machine you turn on, a little learning curve. I want a machine that turns on and works. That's what I want. So don't let them try to sell you the top of the line, guys. Seriously, I've taught people how to buy metal detectors. Because they thought, hey, I want to buy the Tesoro logo and I want to go work this area and find gold. Then I told them, kind of like what I'm telling you, prospecting for gold is very, very difficult. Most people give up. You have to be in good physical shape, fairly good physical shape. Because the areas where there's gold, it's rough terrain. There's rocks, there's gullies. I go out alone a lot of times because it's kind of hard to hook up with people. It's kind of like not the right thing to do. It's funner with 2 people who enjoy the same hobby. But you know, you go this way and I go my way. You know, you really have to concentrate on it and listen. And gold itself, like iron's going to give you, let's get out of that this moment. Iron's going to give you a different signal. It's going to give you a really sharp signal, where gold Gold is more soft. You know, gold is really soft. It absorbs that energy, so it's just zip, zip, where iron is just screaming at you. You know, but after many years of detecting, you'll be able to differentiate iron from gold and non-ferrous objects. But yeah, you know, bring water, bring granola bars, whatever, because it's work, especially in the summer. Be careful of rattlesnakes, sunblock, cats. I always wear a pouch. You know, I always wear a side pouch, and I have 2 compartments, one for trash and one for good stuff. The reason, every time I dig up a piece of trash, I keep it because I'm going to go back to that site, and I don't want to dig it again. It's a waste of time. So pick up the trash and fill in your holes. You know, that's one of the worst things you can go to, you know, is go to a place and not fill your holes in. It makes us look bad.
Is there a club in town?
Yes, there's 2 clubs in town if you're living in Mariposa. There's another club in Corscold for people who are Oakers called Corscold Prospectors Club. And in Mariposa we have 2 clubs. One is the Mariposa Gold Rubbers, the other one is Mariposa 49ers. They're clubs, if you're ever interested in learning how to prospect before you metal detect, I would definitely recommend that. It's nice to learn how to find where the gold's been found. It's a process. It's not difficult. It's a process. You know, to not have any experience looking for gold and getting a expensive. And there's guys who are retired. They have all the money in the world. They buy a $6,000 machine, and they go out there and they find nothing because they don't know anything about the geology where gold's been found. You know, the only way you're going to find gold is if there's a gold that goes over this coil. There's a lot of trash out there. These miners, my goodness. I mean, Jason can tell you, 400, 500, 1,000 pieces of trash you're going to dig before you find a blue piece of gold.
Do you use a pinpointer to speed up your process of?
I think pinpointing is great for coin hunting, even relic hunting, little buttons. I think it's great for, I personally do not use one because when I go out there, I'm already hauling this, and this is my backpack, and the battery, and then I have earmuffs, and then my battery is this big for my mine lab. It's a lot of heavy, a lot of objects. I'm already constrained, and I'm crawling through bushes on my knee. I don't want to lose that $160 pinpointer. Prospecting for gold. Now, if you're out there coin hunting, oh yeah, pinpointers are wonderful. You make your little hole. Pinpointer is a handheld electronic detector. It's small, it's got a button on it, so you get your target, put that thing aside, and now you're using your pinpointer to pinpoint where that target is. It's like surgery, using another tool. Good things to have, but I've never used one. Yeah.
By using a GPS to remember where you found it.
Great tool too. These are all accessories. Picks, you know, little plastic. Oh, and what's important too is shoes without metal in them. The GPS, you know, my lab is incorporating in their new versions of metal detectors, like on these, and GPS. So if I'm digging a target over here, I get those coordinates, so next time I come, I don't forget where I found that piece of gold. So yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
Codes besides the induction and
No, you know what? There used to be BFO, and there's other different TR technologies, but those are old, ancient technologies. You're looking at VLF to be here for a while, and pulse induction too. There's no metal detector out there that can sniff out gold alone. There's no detector that's going to say this is gold. I'm looking for it. I mean, why do we want that? You know, everybody would have one then. You know, you got to make it a challenge. But you know what? On this side of the Sierras, the VLFs do really well. These metal detectors have found tons of gold. Seriously, VLF, you don't need a $5,000 machine. The only reason I have one is because my friend can no longer use it. He's more disabled now. So I picked it up from him. You're going to be digging really deep targets. I was over with Jason one time on one side of Calaveras County, and I heard a sound. I'm digging this deep. And I'm thinking, wow. Well, it was strapped to an old oak barrel a lot of miners had with water and whatnot. I spent a half an hour digging. It looked like a bomb hole when we were done. I was impressed. It did. It was terrible. It was terrible. So yeah, electronic prospecting may not be for everybody, but it is a great way of getting gold. It's just, to me, finding the gold's great, but anticipation of the hunt is even better. When you find gold, it's just a frosting on the cake. It's fun. No, I don't sell it. Some people do sell their gold. They do, because it's a replenishable resource. There's more gold out there. Jason sells a lot. I've sold some of my gold, my little pieces and stuff. But right now, I really don't need to sell it. But I have sold stuff. And if I really had to, I'd sell it. Because I know there's more out there. But right now, I'm like, no, I want to hold on for it for a while. Just like that piece he found. He's not going to sell that right now. That's a beautiful piece. Biggest piece in nugget. A friend of mine found, I think I told you earlier, it was almost a pound. It was 12 point. It was 12. It was big. It was big. And it was, it was shallow. And let's just call him John. He uses a pulse induction. He's a businessman, he's got money and all that, whatever. He doesn't sell his gold. But he said, Fred, most of the gold, because at that time I was just strictly using a VLX, says most of my gold was at the surface to about 8 inches deep. That VLF would have got it. And yeah, Jim?
Can I say a little bit about the treasure hunts?
Oh, well, treasure hunts, I sponsor, in fact, Jason and I sponsor what we call a May Rock Hunt, and we've been doing it the last few years, and there's a lot of these hunts around the country. You seed the grounds with like tokens and stuff, and then you go out there and you do the hunt, and depending upon the token, which number's on it, you get prizes and stuff. Those are really cool to do. We're going to do one actually April 20th, next Sunday or Saturday. The San Joaquin Metal Detecting Club in Clovis, and if anybody's from that area. Great club, good people, metal detectorists. They're going to sponsor a club hunt April 20th in Clovis. So if you get a metal detector and you're in your area, there's a hunt, participate. Join a club, seriously, join a club. But the best thing I could say too is go out there and prospect with a pan, a sluice box. Take 6 months, learn about geology, join a metal detecting club. A lot of these clubs are free. We have a club here that's free. You hang out with like-minded people, they have outings, and you learn about the geology and where the gold's found. And once you start finding gold with the pan or a sluice box, then you could kind of like, hey, I want to do some electronic prospecting. And then you get into that. But I wouldn't recommend buying one tomorrow and going out there, somewhere in the river. Although I did have a young guy, Ian, I named his name, darn, Ian. He comes in, he bought the store logo, and he comes back 5 months later. Comes in, he's a real tall guy, comes in and pulls out a 43-gram nugget. 43 grams is a big nugget. And he's like, yeah, I found this. I said, private property? He says, yeah, my friend's property. And it was in a dry creek bed in Mariposa, maybe 5 miles from here. He was going down the center, and he heard a beat, and he dug it. 43 grams. Man, I get these stories all the time when I'm in my shop. I can't stand it. And I had another guy. This guy comes in just the other day. This guy, I'm going to name him. He says, oh, did you hear about any fines, big fines? I'm like, no. He says, why? Oh, he says, never mind. He says, I was with him, so I'm not going to say anything. And I respect that. That was privacy, There's a big gold being found out there, crystalline gold. The guys who are finding the gold guys, they're very private. It's money. Gold is money. And if somebody finds it, people ask me all the time, where do you go? Unless you're a really close friend and I really like you, I'm not going to tell you, because it's like handing, I did that once. And this young guy, he says, yeah, I told him I found this location, I'm getting gold. And I told him, well, you know what? He's getting gold too now. That's gold that I could have got if I wouldn't have told him. And it's thousands of dollars. So it's okay. I like the guy, and he's new to metal detecting. He just went from a 3,000 old model mine lab, he just bought a 5,000. Yeah. And he also uses the gold bug too. And he gets the Mariposa Creek on private property. He gets the really tiny little nuggets. I sold. There's a young man in Merced, Turlock, Rob. He comes in. He bought an MXT, a Weiss like this, and he strictly hunts the parks. There's a lot of parks in Merced, the old parks. This guy, he just bought it, I'd say 6 months ago. He bought the metal detector MXT, the multi-purpose metal detector, and he bought a small coil. Well, he had a coil like this, and he says, Fred, I'm not finding anything but trash. I'm not getting the deep silver coins. And I'm like, keep using it. Then he got a little coil. He's the ring king, guys. He brought in a beautiful platinum ring with diamonds in it, and nice. He had it appraised at the jeweler at $3,500. This guy's finding gold rings in Merced all the time. He's very successful at it. Like I said, I found a $5 gold piece in Mariposa town with the second day. So it's not impossible. All these, you know, these advertising stuff, like Jerry here, yeah, they want to sell their metal detectors, they do. You will find this stuff. The only thing I want to tell you is, don't worry about White's or Fisher or Lobo. They're all great machines. The guy who designed the Tesoro also designed the Fisher, Eric Foster, this guy Dave Johnson. They're electronic geniuses. They worked for Fisher for a while. They patented a certain way. Then he goes to Tesoro. He calls it a super track. Over here you got the ground grab. It's the same thing. He just patents it differently. So they all have very similar things. The operator, you're the most important thing behind that metal detector. And get a name brand machine. Name brand machine. Yeah. I don't know, any more questions?
Like any one of these would be fine for coins and stuff.
Any one of these would be fine for coins. This right here is a silver Umax. This is a really nice little machine. It's used. I had this guy bring this in for a trade-in, but I'm selling this for $175. It's a $300 machine. I don't have a sign on it yet, but I'm gonna sell it.
We've got a couple of medium price.
Yes.
And what we're gonna do is hit a lot of the cabins that are gunner, I mean, this is the first term top down.
Yep. Heard about that.
There's a lot of those.
See, I'm laughing because I know. I love to be on a site like that. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. Real fun. It's fun.
Before we had to take a Jeep and now it's grown up so much.
Oh.
You can't get in there with the Jeep, so you use a quad.
Here's a great story. This guy comes in, you're probably tired of my stories, but a guy comes in, he says, hey, you heard about this guy who found a $20 gold piece? I said, no, I haven't heard it. I hear a lot of things, but until I see it, I believe it. He said, look, 3 weeks later, this guy walks in, he's like, hi, I'm this so-and-so name. I'm like, wait, your name sounds familiar. He shows me this $20 gold piece, and he tells me the story. He says he was working on his lawn tractor in his front yard in Mariposa, and he lost like a little nut or something. And everybody has a metal detector, you know. Everybody has an uncle or whatever. So he took it out, and he was sweeping it, and he pulls out this $20 gold piece, 2 inches underneath the ground. Then he hits a $10 gold piece.
Whoa.
And then he hits another $20 gold piece. Guys, I saw it. You know the feeling when you did, it's like hitting the jackpot at your chance. He had $7,000 in numismatic value coins there. They were beautiful shape. They were all heads up. And they were all like 3-4 feet apart. Yeah, it's out there.
There's a lot of stuff out there still.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff out there. Absolutely. Thanks for coming.